Good morning everybody, welcome to this week's Tillers Turf Talk. As you can see behind me, we've still got bright blue skies, sunshine, really warm at the moment, really warm forecast going into the weekend. But despite everything and all this, been an incredibly busy couple of weeks at Tillers. Starting off last week with another football pitch going out, so another HT Pro system. That's a collaboration between Hewitt Sports Turf and Tillers, being installed down at Tottenham Hotspur. Credit to everybody involved here, everybody involved in the installation, and particularly Tottenham themselves for having the pitch looking absolutely amazing for the first Premiership game last Saturday, and obviously to top it off with a win, real icing on the cake for them. So looking absolutely amazing. So I think what we're going to talk about today is, as you can see behind me, creating a nice rainbow too. Obviously we're still firefighting, as every grower in the country is at the moment. You know, we're trying to keep the responsible use of water. We're only putting it where it's needed at the quantities we need to do. Just about managing to keep things alive and keep things fresh. So I think what we'll do, we'll have a little walk in the field. We'll talk a little bit about water management, particularly through this drought period. I know we've covered irrigation previously, but I just want to give one or two tips if you've laid any turf recently. So we'll have a wander into the field. But as we do, what else have we been up to this week? Well, the guys have been out busy sanding our root zone products and our revetting turf. So the dry conditions have allowed us to get on. The sand's been drying really nice, brushing in really well. So we've been extremely productive on that. Also this week, we've laid loads more wildflower turf plots. So we're going to have lots and lots of great wildflower turf available, you know, from now right through the coming season. And, you know, I'd recommend anybody want to order a wildflower turf gets their orders in early. So we'll have a little wander out and we'll have a look at the turf. Well, I'm out in the field now and I've come into one of our Arena Gold fields. So this is our sort of fine lawn stroke tee box surround sort of fairway turf. So it's a blend of a rye and a fescue. As you can see behind me, looking green, lush and lovely. And that's really because we have the benefit, as we saw with the irrigators earlier, we have the benefit of the extraction licenses, the irrigation licenses, plus a great resource of irrigation guns themselves and you know, a good water resource to keep them going. So you might be thinking, well, what can I do to help my own lawn or my new turf? Well, two things really. Number one, if you've got an established lawn, then a good tip would probably be just to back off the mowing a little bit. The more leaf you can leave on the plant, the more water reserve there's going to be within it. So therefore you might just slow down the dehydration process a little bit that way. But also if your lawn does turn brown, on an established lawn, it's going to turn green again. Now, we all learnt the water cycle in our school days. We all learned that what goes up must come down. Well, everything crossed it does anyway. So we could all do with a drop of rain right now. So there is maybe a little bit on the forecast next week, but we'll wait and see. But ahead of us, we've got a very hot weekend. So what I would say is if you have laid some turf recently and you're worried about things like the hosepipe bans, which we know now are starting to happen, and that is likely to sort of spread now throughout the country. Now with new turf, and something that the TGA, that's the Turf Grass Growers Association, have really worked hard for, that is to get a 28-day exemption. So basically, if you've laid some turf, then for the next 28 days, you can water it. Two things to think about though. Number one is to check with your particular water supplier. So, you know, whether you're Anglian Water, Severn Trent, any other part of the country, check with them first to make sure the exemption exists in your particular area. So basically that 28 days will allow you to get the turf water, get it established, get some roots down, and then from that point onwards it should become fairly self-sufficient. Now, a couple of things you must do. Number one is you must make a date of when that turf is laid. So it can be a photographic evidence, something in your diary, just as a point of installation, just in case the question is asked of how long you've been watering. The other thing as well is to, if you are going to water responsibly. You know, I would say use water butts, things like that, but obviously with no rain, I'd pretty much think you'd have emptied them by now with plants and everything else. But use the water responsibly. So that means really just sort of watering late in the evenings, early in the morning, when evaporation rates are going to be far less. So use it responsibly and everybody's going to be happy. But as I said, golden rule number one is to check with your local water provider just to make sure that they're carrying that exemption for you. Well, I hope you found the information useful, and if you need any more information on anything we've discussed today, then either go to our website, which is www.tillersturf.co.uk, or for more information on sort of the hosepipe bans, a bit of sort of drought management, then also visit the Turfgrass Growers Association website too, and you'll find more information and fact sheets on there. Now, if you're interested too in obviously the installation of the football pitches, then have a look at our social media, particularly our Twitter site. There'll be a few photographs on there of the sort of before, during and after. So lots of interesting stuff, lots of things to follow on there. So I just want to finish off by once again thanking everybody for watching the videos. Continue to like, to subscribe, to share, to retweet, and we look forward to making you another one next week. In the meantime, have a great weekend, keep slapping on the sunscreen, stay safe, and we'll catch you next week. All the best.